Imagine a crypto used by BMW and even the United Nations, but trading for mere pennies. That's VeChain, a project that I've been holding since early 2020, and I just realized that it might be one of the most slept-on projects in my portfolio. So how can something powering Walmart China's supply chains be so cheap? Well, stick around here because what I discovered about VeChain left me rethinking everything. Today, I'm going to be sharing a personal crypto story, right? No charts over music, just a conversation with you guys. Because back in 2020, I jumped into VeChain's VET token because it promised real-world adoption. Think supply chains, sustainability, big name partners. Fast forward to now, right? And VET's price is just around 1.50 cents. And I was, well, kind of this close to just giving up on it. But then I kept seeing this buzz. Is VeChain the most undervalued blockchain out there? It kind of felt like everywhere I looked, people were suddenly talking about VeChain's true value. So I did a bit of a deep dive into what's really happening. And let me tell you, this is a wild ride that completely reignited my excitement for this boring old project, if you will. Along the way, I also give quick updates on passive income experiments that I'm doing, Unity nodes for those who don't know, and share a bit of a pro tip for staying safe with crypto exchanges. So by the end of this video, you're going to see why I'm holding VET, and why the story of this underdog might be one of the most surprising in crypto right now. This might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies, they are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, so what changed my mind about VeChain? Well, it started with a single X, or Twitter, whatever we're going to call it, post from a crypto launchpad called bLaunch. Now, they basically said, VeChain is a layer 1 used by BMW, PwC, Walmart China, Bayer, even the United Nations, the UN, for things like supply chain transparency and ESG tracking. Is VET the most undervalued real-world blockchain? Now, I had to kind of read that twice. Right? Here's a crypto that's already used by household-named companies and organizations, yet it's sitting quietly in the rankings. So it hit me that VeChain has been delivering on use cases and compliance, like focusing on sustainability tracking and meeting regulatory kind of demands. But the market, it isn't actually paying attention. Now, analysts literally call VET undervalued because its price just hasn't caught up with the real world adoption. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. So let's talk numbers for a second, because they tell part of the story here. Right, at the time of this recording, VET is trading at around 1.7 cents, roughly 1.75 cents. Right? So that's kind of down a bit in the last week, right? Crypto just doing crypto things. But the market cap is only really around $1.5 billion. Now, $1.5 billion might sound pretty huge, but in crypto land, that's barely in the top 40. Now, there are top 50 coins with weaker fundamentals and hardly any adoption that are valued a little higher. Meanwhile, VeChain actually delivering and used by real companies, it's kind of crazy to think. So trading volume in VET has popped up about 21% recently to around $39 million, showing some people are actually waking up a little bit. And some analysts even say that if VET can climb to around 3.8 cents, about double its current price, then it could set the stage for a push towards 5 cents. Now that would be nearly a 3x from today. Now, if adoption keeps building, there's no guarantees, of course, but it's noteworthy that serious people think that it actually has that kind of runway right now. Now, if VET does indeed rocket up, you don't want to be the person who can't access their exchange when it's time to make a move, right? So here's a quick personal tip that I do. I always have a backup exchange or two. right? I learned this the hard way when one exchange froze up right when I needed to make a trade the most. Since then, I've made sure to sign up, KYC verified, and be familiar with multiple different exchange platforms. Basically, have a plan A, B, C, and D. In the case of this, in the description, I've actually linked all of the exchanges that I use through my website, where I list all of the affiliate links, right? Now, I'm talking about Blowfin, BitGet, LBank, and a whole bunch of others that I trust. Using those links, it supports the channel, but more importantly, it gives you options, right? Exchanges can go down or get overloaded, so having alternatives is just smart. So consider it crypto's version of not keeping all of your eggs in a single basket. All right, let's get back to VeChain then, because I asked myself, why is VeChain still undervalued? And the answer that I found is equal parts frustrating and a little exciting. It's frustrating here because the market often ignores fundamentals, but it's exciting because it means that there's unrealized potential still. See, while a lot of us holders were kind of twiddling our thumbs, VeChain's team was quietly building in the background, and they've been building big time. They launched a roadmap called the VeChain Renaissance for 2025. It's a fancy name for a massive 3-phase upgrade. Now, I remember hearing about it, but not really grasping how important it was until recently. Phase 1 was Galactica. Yes, they went for the space theme. I approve, of course. Now, this phase already kind of went live, and it overhauled how VeChain's fees work. They introduced a dynamic fee market where transaction fees adjust automatically based on the network demand. And get this, 100% of the base fees are burned. So if that rings a bell, it's because Ethereum did something similar with EIP-1559. By burning the fees, they're basically adding a deflationary aspect. They also improved VeChain's compatibility with Ethereum by adopting parts of Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade. In plain English, they made it easier for developers to port their Ethereum decentralized applications and tools into the VeChain ecosystem. So Galactica was basically all about efficiency and playing nice with others. That's it's quite a nerdy improvement, I guess, that could actually have a huge payoff later down the line if developer adoption grows. Phase 2, Hayabusa, which is kind of where things kind of get more interesting for us VET holders, right? Up until now, VeChain had this passive income model, right? You hold VET and you would automatically generate just a little bit of V4, and that is the gas token, by the way. So it's nice, but very kind of passive. Now, Hayabusa actually flips the script on a more active participation model, right? Or at least to a active participation model. It's all about introducing staking, validators, and delegators. Basically, you can actively stake your VET, right, to earn rewards and help secure the network. So instead of just leaving it in your wallet doing nothing, to make this transaction more smooth, of course, they actually launched something called Stargate on July 1st. And no, it's not a portal to another dimension. It's actually a user-friendly staking platform. So you can stake your VET through the Stargate platform and you receive staking NFTs in return. Now, think of those like proof of your commitment that you can trade or use to delegate. Now, it's a kind of innovative twist here. Instead of locking up your tokens and forgetting about them, you actually get a dynamic NFT that represents your stake. It's kind of cool, right? Like the full Hayabusa mainnet is kind of set to launch in December 2025, so really just a few weeks away, which is right around the corner. And that's kind of paving the way for the final phase. Phase 3 is Intergalactic. Now, we don't have all the details on this one just yet, but the name kind of gives a big hint. Interoperability. Now, this will focus on VeChain's working, seamlessly with other blockchains. So by the time that Intergalactic kind of rolls on out, I think VeChain could actually connect to the wider crypto universe in ways that it never has done before. So imagine VeChain's data or tokens moving easily between chains. Well, that could be an absolute game changer for adoption. So tech-wise, VeChain is leveling up aggressively, right? We're talking fees optimization, staking mechanics, cross-chain compatibilities. Now, all the things that should make a blockchain more attractive to users and developers. It's like VeChain's been hitting the gym while the market wasn't looking. But here's something even more interesting to me. VeChain isn't just doing some tech upgrades, it's expanding into real-life usage in clever ways. They have this initiative called VBetter, Web3 for better living kind of ideas, which turns everyday activities into tokenized rewards. Now, one of their apps, for example, GreenCart, rewards you for eco-friendly shopping habits. You buy healthy or sustainable products, and you get a pat on the back in the form of some tokens or some points. Another app developed with the UFC and all the partners is called Build Your Body, BYB, basically a workout to earn fitness application. Now, it debuted during the UFC event and reportedly reached 1 million users. So just think about that. They're basically giving out crypto rewards for doing push-ups and jumping jacks. Right now, as someone who spends a lot of time sitting in front of the screens here, I find that both hilarious and also equally brilliant. Right? These apps, they show that VeChain is trying to weave itself into everyday people's lives, right? And not just back-end enterprise stuff, but consumer-facing fun stuff too. It's a smart way to broaden their ecosystem beyond supply chain nerds like myself. Another point that caught my attention is that VeChain is dipping into the AI sector too. They released VeBetter White Paper 2.0 in September and highlighted a shift towards integrating artificial intelligence into their ecosystem. Now, every project loves to throw around an AI buzzword, right? But at least they do it these days an awful lot. But in VeChain's case, it could actually mean using AI to analyze supply chain data or improve carbon tracking, or even optimize those reward applications. The key is, they're not stuck in 2018. They're adapting to current trends and the technology. Right? It shows me that the team is forward thinking and they're looking forward to what could be next, not just resting on their old achievements. Speaking of looking forward, VeChain is paying serious attention to regulation and compliance, which is very huge for the long-term survival. Now, remember that token that I mentioned that you passively earn by holding VET called V4? Well, there's another token in the VeChain ecosystem, a governance token for the VBetter initiative, and it's called Better, or B3TR, right? And guess what? B3TR was officially listed in the European Union's regulatory register, that's the ESMA, under the new MiCA framework. Now, it's a lot of words there. In simple terms, the European regulators gave it a thumbs up. Now, that's rare in crypto. It means that VeChain is playing nice with the rules, positioning itself as one of the legit players. Now, at a time when regulators are cracking down on crypto, seeing a VeChain token in a regulatory whitelist is kind of like finding out your straight A student also volunteers on weekends. It kind of builds a lot of trust. On the user experience front, VeChain is also making some moves. Right? They have an official wallet called the VeWorld wallet. Now, it launched a basic kind of web wallet in 2023, but it has grown into a full all-in-one wallet application now. They just pushed version 2.4.6 with a complete redesign of how your balances and tokens are displayed. Greater clarity, consistency, and usability. Now, those were the goals. Now, maybe wallet UI upgrades don't sound exciting, but they do indeed matter. A confusing wallet can turn off new users faster than you can say private keys. Now, the fact that VeChain is refining the user experience, it tells me that they're serious about attracting and, even keeping everyday users, not just enterprise clients. Now, here's something that I found really validating. Academia is recognizing VeChain. Right? A 2025 academic paper on blockchain-based ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance, reporting praised VeChain's proof of authority model as a strong real-world example of blockchain advancing sustainability in finance. And another peer-reviewed study highlighted how VeChain helped strengthen healthcare systems during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, you heard that right. While most crypto projects were arguing on Twitter, VeChain was out there actually helping during the global crisis, enough to actually be written about in the journals. So when I read that, I kind of got a few chills. It's kind of like confirmation that this underdog project isn't just hype, is it? It's actually making a real impact. Now, how many cryptocurrencies can actually say that they were studied and praised for real-world impact in sustainability and healthcare? That's insanely cool. At this point, I am sitting here asking myself, why isn't everyone and their grandmother buying VET? Right? It seems so obvious that it's undervalued when you see everything that is going on behind the scenes. So the only answer that I have is that sometimes the market takes a while to actually catch up to reality. It's like VeChain has been quietly writing a bestseller, but it's still flying under the radar because it's not a hype-driven meme coin of the week. And you know what? I'm okay with that, right? I didn't invest in VeChain for the overnight moonshots. I invested because I believe in what it was building. This recent deep dive just strengthens that belief. In fact, it has me considering upping my position, responsibly, of course. Now, I mentioned a passive income project that I've been experimenting with, right? Well, let's just switch gears here for a moment because this is where Unity nodes come on in. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you've probably heard me talk about Unity before, but here is a quick refresher and a bit of an update, right? Unity is a project where you basically run smartphones and they turn them into kind of mini crypto nodes. You run the Unity app on the phone and it contributes to the network. You know, think about doing some verification checks to make sure that all the signals are working as they should. And you get paid in crypto for it. Now, I love the concept because it's like putting old phones that you might have to work or earning Bitcoin or Ethereum in return for it, right? It's passive income meets recycling gadgets addiction. So I went ahead and I bought a master node NFT a while back. That one NFT, it gave me 200 licenses to connect up to 200 phones to the Unity network. Now the app, it is not live yet, but it is slated to go live soon. Now my plan is to start small with the test here, maybe these 10 phones first, just to see how it goes. I'm going to monitor the situation, like how much data or batteries get used, and of course, how much crypto I earn in return. Now it's all, and if it all kind of working well, then I'm going to scale it up gradually. What's cool about this and about Unity is that I can choose which crypto I'm going to be paid out in. There's not a new meme coin or a new coin being created for this. You get to choose a cryptocurrency that you want to be paid in. Personally, I'm going to be opting for Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, and XRP, and maybe a few others, basically adding to my long-term bags passively. It's kind of like staking, but instead of locking up coins, I'm leveraging devices and some electricity. Important here is that this is just my experiment. It's not financial advice. Just like with VeChain, I urge you all to do your own research. Unity has a light paper and a rewards calculator, and I'll link them both in the description so that you can check out the numbers for yourself and make if they make sense for you, because it's not going to be for everyone. Now, Unity isn't the main focus for today, but you know, I do want to kind of bring it up. But one more thing, one more quick update here, because I have ended up buying a second and third Unity node, specifically to lease the licenses out to people in our community. Right? Not everyone can or wants to buy a full master node NFT. So this way, people can basically just rent a slot from one of my nodes and try it out for themselves with maybe one or a couple of phones without any of the big upfront costs. Now I'm going to put details down in the description, and also more details can be found in our Discord server, right? And we have a free educational Discord server, by the way, where we are coordinating all of this. So if you're in the Discord, you probably saw that this was coming and you've probably been able to take part in this. Now, I've been discussing Unity in the Discord for quite a while. A lot of our community have. It's not new to anyone there. Now, I just think that this is kind of a neat way for the community to kind of potentially earn a little bit of crypto on the side. And what we're thinking is that you get 90% of the revenue and the channel here gets 10% of the revenue. So kind of like a sharing economy. So if you're interested, join the Discord, check out the website, all that stuff. So bringing it back to VeChain, kind of told you Unity was only a quick detour, right? here is my bottom line, right? Rediscovering VeChain's developments kind of felt like finding an old photo album and realizing the quiet kid from high school is now a rock star. Now, I knew that VeT had solid fundamentals, but seeing how much progress it has been making, from major tech upgrades to real-world impact, it kind of was my wake-up call too. It reminded me why I invested in VeChain in the first place. VeChain might truly actually be crypto's best kept secret right now. It's undervalued in price in my opinion, but over-delivering in adoption and innovation. Will VeT's price catch up to its fundamentals? Well, I wish I had a crystal ball. Maybe it takes another big partnership announcement or some kind of successful rollout of that maybe December upgrade, right? Or perhaps a broad crypto bull run, right? Maybe it's just waiting for enough of us to notice that the emperor actually has clothes. Really kind of nice ones, in fact, right? Now, what I do know is that I'm not alone in thinking that VeChain is undervalued. Smarter people than me are scratching their heads about this too, and it gives me confidence to stay on this ride. There's sometimes in crypto, like the real gems aren't the ones that are screaming in your face on social media. They're the ones quietly building, making deals with Fortune 500 companies, improving their own technology, complying with the regulations, and yes, rewarding you for doing your morning jog. Right? VeChain has taught me that patience in this space can pay off. You just have to discern the difference between a project that is dead and one that is undervalued. VeT, to me, is very much alive and kicking, just waiting for its Rocky Balboa moment. So thank you for hanging out with me today exploring all of this. If you've enjoyed the personal deep dive, make sure to smash the like button and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Well, let's keep uncovering all of these crypto stories together, and I will catch you all in the next one.